Hello, welcome everybody to our August newsletter. This is the tip of the month. We're going to be talking about acoustic guitars this month, and we're going to also be talking about capos. So I just kind of wanted to show you some of the fun things that you can do with capos. If you've got a wonderful little idea or a little chord progression or something like that that you like, and if you could play it open and work it out. That's just a D, to a D with a C in the bass, to a G with a B in the bass, a couple little hammer-ons down there, pull off to the G, and back to the D. If you work it out, you could put that anywhere on the neck. Now, once I've worked that out, as long as I use my capo. Now, I chose to put it at the 5th fret because I like how it sounds there, but I could put it other places. If I put it up at the 7th fret, it sounds a little bit higher. But you'll find that capos generally don't work too well above the 7th fret because it just gets a little bit too small of a space for your hands to do what they need to do. So they work best when you use them kind of between the 1st and 7th fret. So I'm going to put mine back down here at the 5th where I originally had it. When I use a capo, it lowers the action of the strings a little bit, so you'll find that you can do hammer-ons and pull-offs a lot easier when you're using capos. Licks that would be a little bit harder to play down at the bottom of the neck, if I use a capo, I'm able to get a whole lot more movement out of them. Oftentimes you'll see acoustic guitarists, when they're actually doing their record, they'll be playing maybe in a lowered tuning where they've taken the whole instrument and dropped the tuning, but then they capo it. Well, why would they do that? Just to give themselves that little bit of a lower action you can get by doing things with a capo, and it sounds a little bit cooler that way. Another thing you can do with a capo is that if you have a chord progression, let's say you're playing with 2 guitar players, and one of them's playing down in the open position. Let's say the chords are maybe a G and an E minor. Well, what does the second guitar player do? Well, here's a little trick, that trick of the pros, trick of the studio. Get the other guitar in a different capo position, and so now I'm playing, thinking in D, but it's sounding in G. So I've got the lower guitar doing what he sounds best in the open position, but now I'm playing down here in the with my capo, and I'm emphasizing the open strings up here, and it gets a very different sound. And they'll both go together really nicely because I've got one that's sounding low and one that's sounding high. So a couple of cool things that you can do with capos. I encourage you to experiment around with them this month and find the great things that you can do. Kind of make up a song or a melody in one position, capo it up, and hear how that sound changes as you capo it higher in the instrument. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Gibson's Learn and Master Guitar, and have a great month.